All right, good morning, buddy. One sec. Welcome to the Iowa 911 Communications Council meeting for Thursday, December 11th, 2025. I'm your chair, Rob Rotter. Kara, could you give us a roll call, please?
Yep, we'll start at Chris Goff, present. Jeff Miller,
Here.
Mike Bryan,
Mike Bryant's here.
You know what? Hold on. Yeah, hold on. Let me come off mute. Try it again.
Mike Bryant,
Mike Bryant's here.
okay. Eric Daw, or Tom Berger.
Tom Berger's here.
Thank you, Tom. Lynn Tazioli,
Lynn is here.
Josh Duden,
Here.
Rob Denner,
Here.
Adam Wells. Uniform.
Okay, thank you. Could I get a motion to approve today's agenda? Okay, do I have a second?
Miller will second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor signal by saying aye.
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 Against, same sign. And motion carries. And likewise, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from November 13th, 2025?
Lynn, motion to approve.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Berger will second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. The motion carries. Blake, do you have a report for us?
I do. Sorry for those in the room. We're still fiddling with the audio visual, so you'll have to enjoy my briefing of the slides. All right. Just a couple updates on what the program has been doing over the course of the last month or so. We did send out updated ALI database guides to both telcos and PSAPs. That went out over email a couple weeks ago. Those are stored in our Google shared site. So if you need access or think you should have received that and it's not ringing a bell, just reach out to me and I will get you the information on that. Additionally, just earlier this week, we sent out a reminder to all of the non-shared service PSAPs, along with their CPE vendors, to start working on the IP configuration for the data center moves. So that is coming up here shortly. Probably start transitioning PSAPs here in the later part of January timeframe, and just those back-end keystroke changes need to be updated when we start that process. An additional update, this has not gone out over email, just waiting to share it here. One of the things that I feel like has been a long-standing thorn in everyone's side since we transitioned to a SIP environment within 911 is that DTMF tones have not really worked with full functionality. Sometimes that results in issues with delays. Hey, we're back. Hold on. Let's just switch the audio around. All right. Can somebody just give me a quick if you're online, can you just let me know if you can hear me? So we
No.
All right, appreciate it. All right, we should be back to normal now. Back to what I was saying. So DTMF tones. A lot of times that results in whenever you push the button to provide an input, such as hit 1 if you want the phone menu tree to do something, it doesn't work, and it takes a little bit of delay before you are able to connect to a live translator, or sometimes there are issues with telematics during like an automatic 911 call because of a crash. We believe we have a fix in place for those DTMF tones. So it's been applied statewide, and that issue should be resolved. So going forward, if you have a language translation service that requires DTMF tones, or during a telematics crash call, you should be able to provide that input, and it should work as you expect it to, without multiple attempts to get to a live operator. So that should be in place and should be a relief for a lot of folks. An update on our Chapter 10 admin rules. I've briefed this the last number of months. It continues to move through the rulemaking process. It has been submitted for the notice of intended action phase, which is the second of 3 steps. That will be posted in the Administrative Rules Bulletin on December 24th. There are no changes from the regulatory analysis from the first stage. However, if you haven't gotten a chance to review that, or you spot something you want to make a public comment on during this phase of the rulemaking process, those public comments will be due January 13th. And there'll also be a public hearing associated with that as well, if anyone is interested in showing up for that. And just a reminder, that is the second of the 3 steps to make the rulemaking official. So even if you have some extended time off during the holidays, you will still have another opportunity during the 3rd and final phase of that process. An update on where we're at with annual forms. Barely fits on the screen with the number of forms that I still need from folks. You can see the service board membership form I need from 47 counties, and the expenditure collection form I need from 62 PSAPs. The administrative deadline for those is January 1st. So please get those in as soon as you can. I will also mention the 3rd form that did not make this slide is the PSAP update form. That drives all of our distro lists. I have not received that from, let's just say, more than the rest of these. So it definitely would not have fit on the screen. So please get those forms in if you can by January 1st. If for whatever reason you can't make that deadline, just reach out to me and let me know. And I will make a note that you're going to be a little bit late. An update on GIS grants. We continue to bat 1,000 for the quarter and for the fiscal year. So far for quarter 2, all counties have met the benchmarks for October and November. And then later in the agenda, there is one training application to consider. It is the extension of the online learning management system. If you remember back in June, we did a 6-month funding of the online management. So that gets us through the end of December. This takes us out to the end of the fiscal year, so June 30th, 2026. It is the same amount for the same 6 months, if anyone was curious about that. Any questions for me before I turn it over to Lynn with an update on shared services? Hearing none, Lynn, if you are there, you can go.
Yes, I am. Just before I hop into the first bullet there, just want to remind all of the shared services PSAPs, you do not need to reach out to Zetron about the Comtech move. We've got all the information. We're working directly with Comtech. No need to reach out to either Zetron or Raycom about that. We'll be reaching out to you, letting you know when things are going to happen. We're going to start testing in January, and our goal is to have everybody on the shared services moved over with Comtech in the April timeframe, by April. Hopping over to the slide, Marie Carlson is the Zetron Iowa account executive. She's scheduling a shared services user group in April. It's currently being scheduled in conjunction with the APCO NENA. And so the plan is to have it on April 22nd, which is the Wednesday. We'll have a lot more information for you all is in January. And but if you do have topics that you would like to have covered, please send those off to marie.carlson@zetron.com, and she'll work with you to make sure that we're covering the information you want to hear about. Next slide, please. No changes. We're moving into the the busy time with all the holidays as well as the bad weather. So no deployments planned right now, but there's the current map. Next slide, please. Reminder that the online training portal is available to everybody in Iowa. It's not just for shared services. Looks like we got about 400 new course enrollments since last month, and about 300 courses were completed, and you can see the stats down the bottom. If you're interested in getting an account or have any questions, please reach out to Christy Wade at christyw@motivations.com. And I think that's it for me. Thank you.
All right. Any questions for Lynn or myself? Now I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. We'll get along with training fund requests. As mentioned, we have the extension of the online learning management system through June 30th, 2026 at an amount of $19,250. I doubt that anyone has any questions, but if anyone does, now would be the time to ask. Not hearing any questions, any comments? I would entertain a motion to approve. Someone would like to do that.
Dennert.
Thank you. I have a second.
Bryant will second.
You, any further discussion? All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Again, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Do we have any technical advisory? Okay, hearing none, then can we get an update on Iowa Statewide Interoperable Communication System Board, Ms. Nichols?
Sure, Robert. Good morning. There is an announcement that will slightly affect the ISICS board. DPS in the state is going through a process of reviewing the accessibility of the public-facing documents on its website. So that will include the ISICS board website. And while that process is happening, they are asking that we don't post any new public-facing items such as PDFs. So that would include any 30-day comments or any version changes to those standards and policies that we place on the website. So during that time, we won't be posting anything new. So any 30-day comment periods will come after that review is done. It needs to be done by April 1st. Probably will be done before that date. Then we can pick that up. So anything that happens in committee will just stay in committee until that process is done. Let me know if you have any questions about that. If you do find that you're looking for something on the website that you can't locate, just request by email to Holly and myself because those documents still exist. They just may not be where you usually find them. The meeting agendas and the meeting minutes will still be posted as they need to be by the rules. We did have a tri-state comms exercise in Dubuque on Tuesday. It was successfully held. I apologize, I'm still compiling the numbers on the attendees and the agencies that were in the room, but it was a full room and we had a great conversation that day. We exercised on communications capabilities for the tri-county, tri-state area of Wisconsin, Illinois, and Iowa, Grant County, Joe Davies County, and Dubuque County. Thank you to Dubuque County for hosting. And we talked about those 3 separate systems, a multi-agency response, and had a PACE planning presentation and workshop from ECC Myers, actually. REM CDP or IMED update. As you know, there has been a 6-month extension granted through March 28th, 2026 on that grant. We did receive some very great news that payments are also to resume. Those have been paused since February. I've been in contact with the grant working group, DPS, DOT, and others to determine the best steps forward to implement that initial plan. Any questions can be directed toward me, but we are starting a strategic plan on how we can make this happen by the end of March. So we are diligently working to get this accomplished. ISICSB annual report is in the final draft and due to the legislature by January 1st. So I suspect we won't be posting that to the website because of the review process. But after January 1st, if anybody wants to see it, obviously it'll be in the ISICS board meeting next month, but also you could just request it through Holly or myself. ECC Myers also reached out about submitting the TA request from October. And now that the government's back up and running, I think those will be submitted. And hopefully we'll see if those get approved and supported through CISA. That's all I've got. Have a Merry Christmas, everybody, and a Happy New Year.
All right, thank you. Okay, moving on. Can we get an update from U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, Myers?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, everybody. Perfect segue in from Haley Swick-Nichols. The TA request, we're expecting them to see some action perhaps in January or February, and we'll be in touch with the state on how those play out. Some cybersecurity advisories this month that are relevant to our government and communications partners. One of them is BrickStorm. This is a very, very large release from multiple agencies that span much of North America and in some cases the globe. People's Republic of China state-sponsored actors are using a new malware called BrickStorm for long-term persistence on victim systems utilizing DNS over HTTPS. That is a whole lot of letters, but what that means for everybody here is, number one, it is DNS, which is the global phone book for all of the internet. So it converts all of the long IP addresses to domains that we're familiar with, like dhs.gov, google.com, whatever. So anything that affects DNS is a really big deal because it basically tells your systems where to go with information. And if this is compromised, this is a problem. So the victims in this case are typically government and information technology sector partners. So this does affect us all. What you need to do is work with your IT groups to make sure that your edge network devices, such as your routers, firewalls, what have you, and all types of service accounts are secured. The big thing here is the service accounts. These seem to be a target by getting after those access credentials to get onto systems. So make sure that you have a good inventory of all of your systems and all of the people that have access to them from a service perspective. If you find anything, report it to CISA and all your other law enforcement partners as well. One thing you can do to try to mitigate this, especially if you're a VMware user, is upgrade vSphere servers and to make sure you're hardening your environment through all sorts of things. The reason here is we don't necessarily know what they're after or what they're using to get in all circumstances, but we know how they're getting in. So make sure your network is also segmented to make sure that you have privileges that are set for certain people and certain people only. Then, of course, block unauthorized DNS over HTTPS providers and other types of traffic that align with that. You want to make sure your system is as locked down as possible and make sure that that internet's phone book is accurate. You can find this advisory that's linked at the URL in the bottom of the slide. This is something for your network administrators to keep in mind and maybe take into account and do a quick look over your network to see if this is affecting you. Next slide involves AI and integrating it securely, especially with your operational technology environment. This is a very large document also, but it gets into some of these fundamental things of where things are going with AI and how to build it into your systems, whether it's a PSAP, records lookup, you name it. But understanding AI and its potential risks are super important. A couple of things here that we've noted is that you want to make sure you're using AI to fit your specific business case. AI can be a great tool, but you don't just want to incorporate AI to say that you're incorporating AI, because that may open up some Pandora's box of unintended consequences. Make sure your governance structures are well established for this as well. Governance is one of those things that's been around for a while, but integrating it into new technology can be a challenge. So make sure you have your governance and other types of assurance frameworks laid out. Then, of course, embed your safety and security practices into everything you're doing with AI, because if you do that up front, it limits the potential pain points down the road if something were to ever happen. This guide and tool is linked at the bottom of the slide. That is a rather long URL, but if you search for it on our website, it'll come up right away. Last slide for the day is one other thing that does affect public safety and government in general, and this is mitigating risks from bulletproof hosting. This is a bit of a new term, but basically the idea here is that if something lives on the internet, it has to live somewhere. Many of our service providers that do hosting for the internet will abide by international laws, state and federal laws. But in the case of our cyber criminal actors, they are finding hosts that do not follow those laws. So if there is nefarious activity that's ongoing online, the standard protocol to eliminate that will not work with these hosts because they don't follow laws of any sorts. These bulletproof hosting providers are being used for all sorts of attacks on government. About the only way you can do this now to mitigate this is to block those traffic signals that you're seeing. And for that, you're gonna have to work with your network engineers, internet service providers, and then also your vendors that provide you this equipment. Unfortunately, this is one of those things that can be used for all sorts of attacks, whether it's ransomware, whether it's some sort of fast flux attack on your network, or other types of espionage that cyber criminals may be engaging in. So make sure you're aware of this one as well. This is something that does tie into fast flux, which this past summer was deemed as a threat to national security. So make sure that if you have the ability to follow up on this, that you do. We have a resource linked at the bottom as well that covers a lot of the ins and outs of it, and that is geared towards your network defenders as well. Fairly technical report this month, Mr. Chair, but that is the gist of it. I can go ahead and take any questions.
Okay, thank you. All right, do we have any legislative issues of these spoken? Okay, hearing none. Any information sharing by council members? And we don't have any unfinished business, new business, travel requests. So do we have any business from the floor of folks in the room? Any business from the floor of the folks that are joining us virtually? Okay, hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Need a motion.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Berger, second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Or adjourn. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Sheriff.